I got my hands on the testing for Taco Bell, Chipotle, Dunkin', Wendy's, Domino's, Subway, Burger King, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and McDonald's to find out what is lurking in your food that you may not be aware of, that is banned substance, never should be eaten by a human being. And here it is in food that so many of us are eating. Let's take a look. I got my hands on these studies, and it was actually done in September of this year. And moms across America submitted food samples from those 10 fast food joints to the Health Research Institute. It's a nonprofit laboratory that tests foods for nutrient content. And they wanted to test contaminants. So they looked at veterinarian drugs and hormones, hormone-laced meat, drugs that are in the animals. Do they end up in the food because of the lack of quality of this fast food? Yes, even a Chipotle was on the list. Yes, even your Chick-fil-A was on the list. Which one showed up across the board? They tested 104 different contaminants. Here were the results. I want to share it with you. So breaking this down, this is why it's so important to eat. When you pick your meats, I always say, you're not what you eat, you're what you eat. That means whatever's done to the animal ends up in you. So if it has a poor diet, if it has an inflammatory diet, if it has a high carbohydrate diet, it creates inflammation, it makes the animal sick. If the animal receives antibiotics, if the animal is given hormones to grow faster or for some kind of reproductive thing going on, usually it's to make more meat, that ends up in you. So we at least got to go natural with our meats, ideally organic, and we want grass-fed for beef, free range for chicken, wild caught for fish. So let's go into the results. Check this out. So here is the actual breakdown. So they looked at veterinarian drugs first, and across the board, 8 of the 10 had a veterinarian drug found in it. The only ones that didn't, Chipotle, Subway, of all places. Now, here's the sale volume in millions, 11 million, 40 million. This is the amount that they're doing. So they're testing those. 8 of the 10 are going to fall victim from having something in it. 6 of the 10 contain very risky antibiotics. Okay, Monensin is the antibiotic. It's the top one here. You can see the amounts happening across the board. Taco Bell through the roof on this one. Now, the acceptable rate would be 12.5. I myself don't have any acceptable rates for an antibiotic being in my food. Maybe you do. I don't have any acceptable rates, but for Taco Bell, they're way above it. So the Bell comes in at 0.64 micrograms contained in it. Normal would be 12.5 micrograms per kilogram of body weight, so that's going to put you way above that. The issue with this antibiotic is that it is linked to anorexia, diarrhea, depression, ataxia, degeneration of the heart and skeletal muscles, necrosis, and death, especially in animals. So when we do that to an animal, again, what does it end up doing to us? Shocking one there. An antibiotic called Narasin. Now this showed up in 4 of them, trace amounts in 3, but Wendy's was through the roof on this one. So wherever they are sourcing their meat, and this was, at Wendy's was a cheeseburger, wherever they're getting that beef from, they're loading those animals up with high doses of this antibiotic. Now, both Monensin and Narasin are toxic to dogs and horses. It can cause paralysis, especially to the hind legs, and can affect the muscles of the heart very quickly. And that shows up a lot in beef or dairy cattle. The reason they're used is to encourage weight gain. So a lot of side effects, potentially if you're suffering with restless leg syndrome, neuropathy, some of these conditions that we didn't see a lot of, even earlier on in my doctoral career, now exploding, makes you wonder if it creates those kind of symptoms in a dog or a horse or a cow, what is it doing to you, especially when there's these higher amounts that are showing up, like we're seeing in a few of them. Okay. There's a fowl bird contraceptive that shows up in the Chick-fil-A. So no, it's not exempt. This one right here, this is a contraceptive. Nitrobenzin is an anti-parasitic drug and a fowl contraceptive that causes infertility in chicken. They also use it in pigeon and geese. This is found and shows up in your chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. It's been linked to stresses on the system, degenerative process, liver issues, kidney issues, and even some cases death in animals. So what does it end up doing to us? Well, in 2009, the British Soil Association sought to have that banned in the UK, as evidence proved the drug would cause genetic damage, mutations, birth deformities, malformations. So it'd be a good idea if you are pregnant or nursing to avoid Chick-fil-A because of that reason. It's showing up in there. Voluntary study, nonprofit doing this. They don't have any skin in the game, but just looking, are these toxic chemicals in there? Sure enough, across the board in a lot of your favorite fast food places. Now, not only are these fast food joints and their staple favorites full of hormones and antibiotics in a lot of cases, but they don't have the nutrients. In fact, a woman would need to eat 333 servings of Chick-fil-A sandwiches. I wouldn't try that. And a man would have to eat 380 servings of Chick-fil-A sandwiches just to get the RDA for niacin, a very important B vitamin, especially when it comes to cholesterol overall in the body. You would 380 sandwiches just to get some niacin in. So not only are we getting chemicals in, we're not getting nutrients in these foods because they've been so stripped down. 0 amounts of B9, 0 amounts of B12, which is really big for anemia and energy levels, were found in any of the 10 fast food joint foods. So none of these having good doses of B vitamins. Now, when you're lacking B vitamins, fatigue issues, digestive issues, heart problems, nervous system disorders, erratic behavior, energy takes a big hit if you don't have enough of this going on. And these foods aren't enriched and they're not being raised properly. So we're loading up with chemicals. We're decreasing the amount of B3, niacin. We're decreasing the amount of B9, B12. These are very, very important nutrients for your energy, for neural development in children. So number one, we need to make sure we're not getting a lot of extra toxins. So I would avoid these. If you're gonna choose something, choose Chipotle. Looks like Subway might be a second. You're really gonna have to watch out for all the sugars and the stuff they put in their breads, bad oils. At least for Chipotle, you can avoid a lot of the carbs. So it would be a better choice out of the 10. That's one of the points here. But then knowing that when you're eating at any of these other places, not only are you taking in antibiotics, not only are you taking in chemicals at an excess level that's harmful to humans, but you are also not getting the nutrients. So B vitamins extremely important. I've made an entire video answering all questions on it. Could it be possible that you are deprived of those B vitamins? Maybe that's what's leading to the energy issues or the neuropathy or the pain or the problems that you might be having. Maybe it's affecting your muscles. Put a whole video together. That's the next step up here. If you're not getting those in, be sure to check out that video. You can check out my source of 11-in-1 B vitamins to help to bring those back up to their proper levels. And I would stay away, pass this video along, from these top fast food joints that are having high levels of hormones and chemicals in them. Kind of disgusting. Make your own food the more that you can. If you need help doing it, grab a Make Food Simple book in the link below. Check out this B vitamin video next.